Oh, hi everybody, and welcome to our September Astro-Healing Circle. We have been going through some changes as Valen and I have switched platforms for tools for transformation. So you'll be receiving some extra emails over the next little while, just reminding you that if you want access to the resources, you just have to sign up for free at the link that we provide you. And we also wanted to remind you or let you know that on September 20th, which is the equinox weekend, we will be running our special fourth quarter co-create circle, recommit to the true you, reconnecting to the innate power within. And that circle will focus on diving more deeply into some of the themes that Belen will be discussing tonight. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. But the key, of course, is that you will be receiving customized guidance, personalized guidance based on your chart that will help you navigate the next 4 very intense months as we go into mega retrograde of everything. And really kind of cruise into, with a little bit of grace, cruise into 2026. So the key, of course, is to prepare. And we're going to have a little, this is the do-over time. And things are going to slow down, but really in preparation for the big hits in 2026. And Bella will be able to talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah, I was just going to say that'll be this quarter, what we're going to be talking about will take us all the way to February 2026.
Yeah, beautiful. So let's move forward. And as always, we're going to have a little bit of channeled messaging here from Zora and Valen, if you want to share that.
I will. And I realized that they had more to say because the font's a bit smaller.
They had more to say. Lots to say today.
Lots to say. Anyways, greetings. There's an ebb and flow within the energetics of your time that allow you to reflect on where your soul journey is leading you. This time is allowing you to live fully in your daily life and at the same time recognize that you are mapping a future that has yet to unfold in your reality. What this offers you is the opportunity to be fully engaged and grounded in your manifest life, and at the same time recognize that there are greater energetic shifts underlying your day-to-day existence. This may at times feel like the energies are contradictory. However, it is a recognition that you have chosen to evolve on a soul level while being fully engaged in your physical reality. And that is where the lessons lie. You will find distractions, but those distractions are the places where you're called to stay present and hear the whisper of your soul that is offering you a sense of truth expressed through your experiences. As you embrace this way of walking through your world, you will come to understand on a very practical level that the soul is speaking to you through your everyday interactions and experiences. This is an opportunity for reminding yourself that connecting to your soul self is not separate from your three-dimensional reality. It is fully integrated and is integral to your individual soul journey and evolution. Find the grace in the quiet when you can, and give thanks for the opportunities that flow to you and through you at this time. You are blessed, you are honored, you are loved.
Let's just sit in that energy for a moment. Maybe take one hand to the belly and one hand to the heart. And just let your breath be what it is. Maybe read some of the pieces of the passage back to yourself or remember them if your eyes are closed. Just feeling into what was just shared. My sense of Zora over the last few years since I first met them is that they are such a benevolent, unconditionally loving presence. And it's lovely just to bask in that energy for a moment and feel into their message And just a reminder that we have an audio of their readings for each month, and that's part of what's included in your Astro-Healing Circle library. So let's move on. And before we do that, I'm just going to get everybody's tacit permission, implicit permission to do energy work with you today. If you would prefer to be left out, there's no one new to the circle today, but if you prefer to be left out for whatever reason, I don't need to know why, you can just individually message me in the chat and I will not include you in the energy work today.
So we are entering sort of the last phase of a whole lot of energies that we've been living with for years. And what that means in the astrology is that all of the outer planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, including Chiron and Eris, are all retrograde now. And when a planet goes retrograde, it's about turning inward, it's about reflecting, it's about reassessing and reevaluating. It's this time to slow down. It's a time to pay attention to the inner voices. It's a time to reflect on what has happened, particularly in this year, what has gone on since the end of May. There's sort of, we were in new energies, June, July, August, and now we're starting to pull back to the older energies we've been living with, what might even feel more familiar. But it's that time to really pay attention. It's a time to drop in and to recognize that as we're preparing for a new cycle, we're actually also integrating what we've learned and finding our own closure in different ways, where however that is for each of us. We're ending cycles as much as we're getting ready to begin cycles. And I heard or read or something really recently, and it could have been Pam Greger, I can't remember, but we want to end the cycles the way we want to begin the next one, which I think is a beautiful way to be present to what we're living. So this is a time when, as everything turns, all these old big planets, big powerful planets turn retrograde, to recognize that old patterns may surface, or things that we have initiated over the last year may come up, and we might go, yeah, you know what, maybe I want to do it differently. I want to attack this in a different way. I want to look at it differently. So this is just something to make space for, to make time for. And the power of what's happening right now is that we are actually, it's like we're in a deeper evolution of who we are becoming. And these are long-term overarching themes. So we're getting this beautiful chance to reassess and reflect, particularly what seeds were planted this summer. What little pieces were you like, you know what, I'm going to do that differently, or I'd like to manifest this in a different way. So part of how we can use this time is to really make space for our inner reflections, to make time to use, whatever tools that you have that you love, so that you can feel connected to your inner voice. It's a beautiful, beautiful time for this. And we are setting seeds for 2026, where we're all in new energies. And so this is really important for us right now to really reflect on how do we want to be in those new energies? What does that look like for us? And the other piece of this, because there's a slowing down, there's also this place where we may feel like, well, I need to be moving forward. And I've done this to myself a number of times, and I should know better. Why isn't something happening? I need to be moving forward. What's happening? So just to say that with these big energies turning inward, we have to have patience and compassion with ourselves and others. And just to remember that we're preparing for the new cycles, and it doesn't mean we're not doing stuff in our life still goes on, but to recognize that as we're paying attention to how we want to start the new cycles in 2026, that we just want to give ourselves grace as much as we can.
Beautiful. So before we move on to the next slide, I just wanted to put out this idea And we're going to be playing with this in our co-create workshop on the 20th of September. And you may already know the answer to this, but I just want to put out this idea for you to consider what area of your life or what theme or what even single word would you say is thematic for you in terms of how this change is evolving for you, or what seed you planted this summer, or what is this underlying piece that you're considering changing? What change are you in? What liminal space are you in? What is shifting for you? How are you manifesting differently? Whatever the question is for you, depending on what area of your life. Now, in the workshop, we look at that in your chart. Valen looks at that in your chart, so you have specific guidance around that. But for sure, there are pieces that are coming up for you that jump out at you, that kind of are the first things that you consider. So if you have a word or a phrase that you want to share around that, just put it in the chat and we'll see what we can do around balancing you for that.
So one of the big turning points here that's happening, just what's the date today? Oh, happening today. Saturn is turning retrograde and it has just gone back into Pisces. And we've been, all of you have been with us for a while. We've been working with Saturn, the container, the manifester, Pisces, the dream, the vision, connection with spirit. We've been working with this since March 2023, on and off. And so we're now, we are now in the time that we can play with this one more time, and it's not going to return for 30 years. So this is the next 5 months is when we can really engage with this and engage with it in a way that we now know this energy or know ourselves in some way around how we want to manifest, what our dreams are we want to manifest, where we feel restricted around this. We've had experience with this now. So this isn't a new energy, but it's a potent time because we're at this end. And what we're called to now is, as we slow down, which is part of the retrograde piece, is that now it's a time to recognize the endings. And in some ways, the endings, when I think about Saturn, I think about the boundaries and the walls and the structure. And sometimes those structures, we have to let things go. If we think of a container, there's things that are not coming with us. They're not coming forward. So it's a time to reflect on maybe what we need to let go of, maybe we need to say goodbye to, maybe it's pieces, old stories that we've told ourselves, and a time to integrate all that we have learned about ourselves and what our vision for ourselves is, what we want to manifest since March 2023. And so we're in the works of moving towards a new cycle that will initiate February 2026. And this is the pause. This is our time to be quiet. This is our time to take a deep breath, a time to just find some stillness, because things will ramp up even more than they are right now. I don't know if all of you are feeling it, but I'm feeling very ramped up at the moment. So this is a time to consider what's unfinished, because we've got these 5 months to work with this. So a time when we want to set compassionate boundaries to support our dreams. How are we going to make our dreams come true? What are our dreams? What are our visions? What do we want to reassess? What do we want to reevaluate? Or as we think about this, what do we want to make sure that we're creating a structure that's going to support what we want? And another piece about Saturn is it's about maturity. It's about owning our own authority. It's about stepping into responsibility. So there's a place, and Pisces is very much around the emotional sense and the intuitive sense, the sensitive side, the empathy. So there's a place here where it's like, okay, now I need to pay attention to how do I want to show up in my full responsibility for myself, what I'm creating for myself, what am I about to step into with this new cycle, and really examine what we want to manifest. This is our time Tap into the dreams. And if we're not clear, and that's Pisces, Pisces is often very much unclear, tap into the feeling, tap into the intuition, tap into the dreams. Find whatever ways you can to access the information that's flowing to you outside of reality. And whether it's, dream journaling, whether it's, I'm trying to think of other ways of doing this, and my mind's blank right now. But however it comes to you to be in connection with source, be in connection with your soul, inner self. This is a time to really, really think, what does this dream, does this thing that I think is my vision for myself, is this really what I want? This is the opportunity. And Saturn is about taking concrete steps. So this is not just about dreaming, it's about dreaming it in and recognizing that if we want to manifest something, once we become clear of even a feeling of where we're going to go, recognizing that we need to make concrete steps to make this happen. And so this is a beautiful time with Saturn sort of quietly to plan those steps, to take those steps if you're sure, if not, to plan them around what feels like what you want to bring into your life. And the endings piece is really important because we don't want to carry forward our old patterns, any illusions, a sense of escapism or victimhood. These are the pieces that we can let go of now. And we've got these 5 months to really come to terms with that and really think this through. So the big piece here is to really let your inner self guide you forward, and to be okay to let go of the old things that we don't need to carry anymore, the things that aren't your responsibility anymore. This is a really potent time to take that sacred pause and really tap into this. It's a beautiful time and example. And for me, there's places where I have no idea how things will manifest, but I have a feeling. And what I'm working with is, how am I going to create the reality of that feeling? And right now I'm just tapping into what that feels like. And I'm just being in the dream world. I'm in the, oh, that might be nice. Oh, that's something I really am drawn to. That's kind of how I'm doing it right now. So this is our time. This is the last Saturn in Pisces for the next 30 years. So we want to take advantage of it as much as we possibly can.
Okay, so I have reinstalled the positive emotion or supportive emotion of affection for self for everyone, because that was a piece that wanted to come in terms of the response to the earlier question. So the next question for you, of course, is, what is one simple, concrete step that you might take to help to support or to encourage or increase your responsibility, which is your ability to respond to your vision or your dream or your sense of, for instance, if you had a sense of what you were moving toward, what you were planting seeds around this past summer, what is one concrete action that you might take to further that, or to support yourself in that, or to be in that energy more? So if you want to share that or not in the chat, if you share it in the chat, then I will check in with whatever energies need to be balanced. And I have to tell you, Velen, I'm obsessed with this image. And I might ask you to use it for our September workshop because I love it so much.
Of course, absolutely.
But now I will let go of it and move on.
So I just want to respond to, I think it's Helly. Yeah, there's a crack and a crack. That's how the light gets in, that Leonard Cohen song. And that's so beautiful for Saturn, because Saturn is that structure. Saturn is the sidewalk that he's writing about. And that's where the crack, so yes, that's exactly what's happening right now. And we're literally at the time, as things are cracking open, we get to see the future, but we're not there yet. So it's a beautiful, I'm glad you brought that up. That's a beautiful image for what we're living right now. So this is the interesting thing with this month. And I realize it's very much what the channeling was speaking to, is that we've got all these outer big energies slowing down, turn in. At the same time, all the inner planets, they're the personal planets. It's Mercury, it's the sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars are all changing signs. Mercury's changing signs twice. And that's all our personal life. That's the day to day. That's the people we talk to. It's in astrology, it's more of the quicker moving things, the things that change in our life. So we've got this busyness happening, this changing energy. There's going to be a lot of changing energy. And on top of that, I don't really do the moon stuff that much anymore, but we're in eclipse season. We've got 2 eclipses in September, and they're focusing on the Pisces Virgo axis in the chart, and Pisces, Saturn's in Pisces. So that's going to be highly, highly, highly activated and focused this month. Once again, going back to what I just talked about. And the Virgo piece is the piece about the day-to-day life. So what's happening right now is there are going to be a lot of energetic shifts in day-to-day life. And so that creates a lot of busyness, a lot of change, a lot of things happening. And at the same time, we're being called to honor that pull inward, that inner voice. So we've got the busyness on one hand, and then we've got this pull into our depths on the other. And it's finding a way to walk that out in our life. And so finding a way to be responsible for the quietness we have to create, our inner stillness, but also showing up and being present. This is what's happening today. This is what's busy. I need to schedule this. I need to do this better. I need whatever it is, all the day-to-day stuff. What we're being asked right now is to live the day-to-day at the same time as connecting, remembering that we are a soul that is being busy, that is being present, that things are happening. So all of this, to me, I've really been working with this over the last week. I realized that actually, even as I think about the slides, I realized how much that has, I'm being reminded, I'm reminding myself in all of the busyness that I'm living, there's still an underlying stillness that supports me, and I can tap into it. So what we want to know is that we are living contrast because we have chosen to be a spirit in our soul, in our body, in our human form. So what we want to do is to take our action while we are still remembering and connected to our inner self. And that over the course of this really busy month, we want to remind ourselves to stay mindful, just in general. And once again, we're going to probably, I don't know everyone else's life, but my September is really, really busy. And it gives me lots of opportunity as things seem to pile up. And it's like, take a breath, just do this in the moment. It's a great practice. And so the other piece is that all the external things that are happening, all the external busyness, any changes that you're going to find in your life, is actually asking us to step into our personal healing journey, whatever that is. This could be people that you meet. This could be things that come up in your life that you're not planning on. It can come in any ways, and it's not negative things. It's just the busyness of stuff that's going on. All of it is asking us to connect deeply with ourselves while we are living our humanness, which is very challenging. It's a great lesson right now.
Beautiful. Okay, so we are reconnected to the I am statement, I am grateful. And if you want to tap that in, just take your non-dominant hand, place it on your heart chakra. Somebody mentioned to me about working with their heart chakra. So put your hand on your heart energy center, and you can just tap your triple warmer, which is the space between the pinky finger and the ring finger. It's that between those two metatarsals there. So just just tap it in. I am grateful. We're gonna work on that as Valen shares the next piece.
So there's a couple of other things that I wanted to point out for this month, and one is really interesting. Pluto, this big, deep, transformational planet that has us dive into the shadow. It wants us to feel empowered in the Aquarius, empowered to be our true self, to be authentic. It has gone out of bounds. I think it's gone out of bounds already, and will for a couple of months this year, and will for a couple of months each for the next, I think, until 3030. I might have had, or 2030, might have that wrong. And then it's not going to happen again for another 1,000 or so years. So we get this incredible opportunity. Pluto's retrograde, it's in Aquarius, and it's out of bounds. Anything out of bounds gets to express more intensely, gets to express more authentically, more in its own way. It's as if Pluto is kind of left the regular rules behind. It's kind of what out of bounds means. So on a global level, on a external level, often it's out of bounds to the south. That means where people reclaim their power. So we are probably going to see more and more and more people standing up and saying, I'm not, this is not right. I'm not going to stand for this. I'm going to set my boundary, whatever it is. We're going to see this externally. It's taking back, people are taking back the collective power. That's what's going to happen. So, but what I wanted to explore is what we're doing with that on a personal level. And part of that, Pluto is our shadow. Pluto is our depth. Pluto is the places that aren't necessarily comfortable, but it's where the deep healing happens. So we've got this beautiful chance over the next few months to explore the shadow. And as we all know, the gifts lie in the depths. The treasure is buried really deeply. So to find ways to really allow ourselves to go deep and to explore things that may not feel comfortable, and yet once they're brought to light, once they're out of the darkness, we can step into our power. They don't have control anymore. So this is about reclaiming our personal power in the sense that Aquarius is, how are you showing up authentically as who you are? Pluto, about power. So this is a beautiful time, once again, over the next few months, to really examine, where have I given up my personal power? Where do I give it up? Even in little ways. And there's also this place about, who are we? So any sense of, well, this is who I am. And then when you start to think about it, well, maybe not. Maybe that's an old story I've told myself. That's old programming. So this is also a great opportunity to really, in a quiet, courageous way, because going into these deeper places takes a lot of courage. This is a place where we can really find who we truly are. What does that mean? What blocks us from being who we truly are? And as we're doing all this, it's really about embracing the transformation that we're all living. We're all living in a time, a global time, as we all know, that's shifting and changing, and we can't truly see the future yet. It's unfolding. It's a little bit chaotic because we're in the middle of it. The path hasn't unfolded yet for us. So to really embrace this time of transformation, and to know that we are going to be having breakthroughs in consciousness. This is going to mean something different for everyone, but it can be, new insights, new ways of getting information. It can be just exploring the curiosity, but what does it mean to expand our consciousness? There's so much out there right now. Everyone's talking about this, everyone's feeling this, everyone's knowing this truth, but we're going to know this on a personal level. So it's to really be open to ways that we are now on a personal level expanding our consciousness. And what does that mean personally? Once again, it'll be different for everyone, but just to know that this is what's happening. And as this happens, the information that's coming in is going to be, and show up in your authenticity. Find that personal power to be true to yourself, and to let go of the things that we have carried with us in our shadow. There's a really interesting, beautiful piece that's happening, and I'll be talking a lot about this because I'll definitely talk about this next month. Uranus and Pluto are in a trine, and that's a supportive energy, and they're coming really, really, really close this month. Uranus is about bringing insights. It's about awakening. It's break down to break through. It's flashes of genius. It's this ability to, this is breakthroughs in consciousness, our ability to see things in a new way. And it's supporting our sense of personal empowerment, our authentic self. So we are actually, through the busyness and through the change and through all the uncertainty that we're sort of living with, because it's like, I'm not really sure what next year is going to bring. This is supporting us. And this is really, really powerful. It's going to be exact next year, but it is so close right now that we are absolutely energetically supported. So this is a place to lean into it, to lean into what are the new awarenesses that are coming to me and how do they support my personal empowerment. And of course, especially with Aquarius, and Uranus is the modern ruler of Aquarius, so this is a collective journey. So each of us are on our individual path, but what we want to do is find those we choose to walk with that supports our unfolding path. It's so important now because there's so much change. We want to find the souls that we want to walk this through with. So of course circles, but this is, you know, a friend that you can really open up to, whatever it is for you, once again, but to recognize this is a time to do it. This is absolutely what part of this time is for us. And just to be conscious and purposeful about how we're using our energy, because we are preparing for a new cycle that is emerging. And we want to use this time. It's cosmically, we've been given this beautiful opportunity. So we don't want to sit on the couch and wait for it to pass, let it pass us by. This is an incredible time in human history, and we want to be conscious and we want to be purposeful about how we're using our energy. So as I was thinking about that, it's, you know, be responsible for the reality you're creating in every thought, word, and action. This is what we need to do as much as we can pay attention on a day-to-day basis. We want to be projecting the future, our dreams, what we're calling into ourselves, what we're manifesting for ourselves in all those ways, thoughts, words, actions, because that is telling the universe, this is what I am envisioning for myself. This is what I'm creating for myself. So it's a powerful time, and it's a very supportive time. So we want to really make use of it.
I love that. I think for us to remember, particularly because we can get distracted. Some people talked about that earlier in the chat. We can lose focus right now. There's so much going on. There's especially when we have intensity like this, right, Belen? It's really easy to get sidetracked.
Mm-hmm.
It's really easy to feel undermined or overwhelmed. And so in that, really looking to what our supports are. That is such a key piece in this time. This circle being one of those for us, astrology in general being one of those for us. Valen and I spend a lot of time just on the side discussing astrology, just discussing different parts of our charts. She will often give me insight or offer insight that is oftentimes incredibly supportive, even if it's just information, so that I know what's going on. It just feels better, right? It's not that things are necessarily going to be different, but maybe my attitude toward it might shift a little bit because I understand better, that I can get under it, right? Do that understanding piece. And so that's the journey that I wanted to invite us on this evening with our sisters, the bees, so appropriate for this time of Virgo. And I thought particularly appropriate because Virgo will have 2 new moons this year. Doesn't happen very often. But because the first Virgo new moon was right at 0 degrees Virgo, we have a second one at the end of Virgo. So we have this mutable earth energy, this energy that is earthbound, earthy, all about nature, all about getting things done, refining, perfecting. So not about perfectionism, but about perfecting and refining, perfect for this retrograde time. And I wanted to really feel into the energy of the sisterhood of bees, because Belen often over the last several months and years has spoken about the community energy of Aquarius. And at Tools for Transformation in Inner Wisdom and in Astro Circle, we take our community very seriously and our sisterhood very seriously. And the ways in which bees behave in terms of supporting each other and rescuing each other. There was a video that was shared a little while ago about a bee who was caught in a spider web and how the sisters came to her aid. And so this idea of the supportive community and this ongoing intention that where we can really sit for the next 25 days or so, sit in this energy of intention and just be in it. We don't have to feel as though a door is closing. We don't have to feel as though, our oh, quick, hurry, rush and get into that opportunity. The energies are allowing us, giving us that support with the retrograde that Belen has talked about, of being able to really sit and listen to the buzzing of the bees, sit in this late summertime and hear the crickets and the cicadas and the breezes and the trickling water, whatever it is that is, or even just the wind through the leaves before the leaves start to turn, or as they start to turn before they start to fall. So let's take a moment to go back to connect in with our breath, and close your eyes if that feels good to you. And we're going to reconnect with this idea of the simple breath within, not changing it, not altering it in any way. Allowing yourself to really sink down in your seat, be present to yourself and your body. Be present to the sensations in the body. Perhaps there is some discomfort, and allowing that to be okay. Allowing yourself to be fully present to the moment that is right now. In the space where I am, there's a lot of noise with little kids squawking downstairs and with various sirens and honking of horns in downtown city. And I'm not used to that. It's not what I usually have. And so being adaptable, there's that mutability, that flexibility. Adaptability, flexibility, fluidity is going to be key during the next several months as we shift and change, as we move through transformation, as we connect and reconnect and disconnect and reconnect again. So just noticing how your body feels, where there might be aches or discomforts. Adjust if you can, or just be in a mode of acceptance for a few moments, if that's what's called for. And always coming back to the breath, maybe hand on a heart and hand on the belly. Really being present to your presence. Noticing. Notice what you notice, moving within, allowing the breath to sink you a little further down. Feeling your tail sink into your seat. Maybe lying back a little bit against the back of your chair. And pressing the spine. And allowing yourself to sink back into your spine. Drawing your face back into the back of your head so that you're not pushing quite so far forward out of your eyes. Softening that gaze, even with the eyes closed, being soft as you turn your inner eyes within. being soft as you turn your inner ears within and maybe begin to listen to your own heartbeat. Listen to the rushing of your blood. Notice your jaw and whether or not it's a little tense, and just softening that. Slowing the breathing a little bit more and extending the exhalation now. Slightly longer exhale. And then at the bottom of that exhalation, pausing in the emptiness and sinking into that. Feeling yourself becoming deeper, more engaged with your planet. Feeling yourself getting wider, taking up more space. So often we spend time shrinking, being small, making ourselves small when we follow those rules, rules that Pluto is breaking, rules that Pluto is helping us break out of. That's part of the breakdown to break through that Uranus is leading us through. More breakdown, more breaking of rules, more breaking of expectations, more breaking of have tos and shoulds, breaking of power over. And that's perhaps where we're seeing the cracks in the earth and the light, whether it be heat or steam or lava or water, making its way through as things open and shift, and feel how things are opening and shifting within you. And just allow that. There might be discomfort. There might be a little bit of fear. The what if might come up for you. And that's okay. And when you feel ready, take your first step forward, just gently on your path. And look down and notice, is your path covered in leaves, in pine needles, in earth, in roots, in flower petals? Are you walking in water? Just notice. And slowly, slowly, that mutable Virgo energy moving you forward on your intended path. You don't need to know anything about it. Just noticing, observing, watching, feeling, listening, smelling, touching. Notice the sensation under your toe, your barefoot. Just be present to that sensation. Be present to yourself. Allow yourself to be where you are on your path. No need to make it any different. Keep walking until you find yourself in the place where you are very often when you journey. Maybe it's a place of power. Often we have a power place or a power spot. It can be on a rock or next to a rock. It might be under a tree, up against a tree. It might be near water. You might be able to hear water. Maybe it's a field with flowers. And of course, the bees are present in all of these places. Maybe it's out in space. Maybe it's on a mountaintop. Maybe it's at the bottom of the sea. Whatever is your place of power, find yourself there now and allow yourself to sink into being in this space, in this place of power. It's a place that's personal for you, and you can return here at any time. Perhaps these sister bees are here, offering support and encouragement, reminding you that you are part of a hive and you are never alone. You are always supported. There is always energy that is watching out for you, encouraging you, cheering you on, helping you, taking some of the load off. whatever that looks like, however that feels for you. So really engaging all of your senses here, being present to your body and all that it's telling you about this moment in this place of power for you. Breathe it in, exhale gently and slowly. And at the bottom of that exhalation, just pause. Pause in the empty and notice what you notice. Perhaps you see something, hear something, smell something, or feel something that is a clue for you. Or maybe you're just here enjoying the moment. If a particular sensation arises, just allow it. If you see something, just allow it. No need to engage your mind around this. This is simply about experiencing. Allow the fullness of your experience, breathing in and exhaling deeply, pausing at the bottom of the exhale. And one more time, breathing in deeply, exhaling a little bit longer than the inhale. Sinking into the bottom of that pause, feeling that sense of empty, that spaciousness, and then inhaling again. Know that you can return to this anytime, being present to yourself, to your body, to this place, the sacred place of power for you. This place where you feel supported, rooted, grounded, seen, heard, known, felt. And when you're ready, begin to make your way back, 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 back to this place and this time in your own timing, allowing yourself to slowly and gently wriggle your fingers, wriggle your toes. And when you're ready, open your eyes. And if at this point there is a word, a phrase, an idea, an image, a sensation, a thought of some kind that is surfacing for you, go ahead and make a note of that for yourself. Maybe you'll want to follow it, maybe not. Just see what comes up for you. Hi, everybody. That was it for us for this evening. Just a reminder that our annual workshop is happening on the equinox weekend. It's 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern time, reconnecting to the innate power within. You can find all sorts of information about that on toolsfortransformation.ca/co-create25. We look forward to seeing you on the 1st of October here, 5:30 ET, 2:30 PT, and we will see you then.